These are the 5 tools in Canva's Magic Studio that you have to be using as a content creator. Content creation is a science, and it can be tough to build out video and static content from multiple platforms all on your own. That's where AI tools like Canva's Magic Studio can really come in handy. Now, I've been building content for multiple business over the course of the last few years using Canva, and believe me, I've had my fair share of days where I just didn't want to make another piece of content. But over the course of time, I've tested vast majority of tools both inside Canva and outside of Canva to be able to help me build that content a little bit faster, a little bit more efficiently, and hit that wall a little bit later. One of the tools that I use quite a bit that's actually helped me in that process is Canva's Magic Studio. You can actually check out the last episode on my YouTube channel or visit my podcast where I break down exactly what Canva's Magic Studio is, how it's going to help you, and how it speeds up a lot of your content creation and makes your life easier. Getting you back to what's important. In today's episode, I'll be giving you the 5 Magic Studio tools that I use almost every day to build content for Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Pinterest, YouTube, LinkedIn, and more. If you're a business, a creator, an influencer that's creating content for either your brand or somebody else's, this episode is specifically for you. Let's dive in. Now, the first tool that I use almost daily is the background remover tool. I always really struggle with saying that. I'm not 100% sure why, but the background remover tool. There we go. I use this one a lot for headshots. I use it for different photos that I may find through Canva or other stock sites like Adobe Stock. You're able to take out the background both in images and videos through Canva's background remover tool. Hey, that time I did it. Now, if you're watching on the video version, I am going through some tutorials here that you can get a visual version of this with. So if you're listening on audio, you can actually find this on my YouTube channel. Just search the DY Bennett, and you'll be able to find the whole library here. You can find the whole tutorial on these 5 as well. So this particular photo is actually just a headshot that I took straight from Canva's library. It does tend to be a tiny bit more difficult in the removal process if the background is the same color as somebody's hair or their shirt. This one's a perfect example because the background is teal, but it stands off very well from his hair, his shirt, his glasses, pretty much everything that he's wearing. So this one's going to be a really easy one. All I'm going to do is select the photo, go to Edit Photo, and then the first one here you'll see is a little beach ball icon called the BG Remover. That's just the background remover. So I'm going to click on that. And again, because this one was so easy, that process was very, very quick. Typically, if you have a more difficult background, if it's a larger photo, if there's more going on in the background, that process does tend to get a little bit trickier. I have worked a couple of projects, most notably a poster for a baseball tournament here in my local hometown that I was taking some of the shots from last year's tournament and trying to remove the background. Obviously, there's a lot going on in those kind of backgrounds. Maybe there's the outfield or the crowd behind him or even another player. So trying to do those might tend to be a little bit more difficult, but for something like this is a very quick fix. If I wanted to refine this a little bit, I could go back into the background remover tool and there's a little adjustment icon there. And either I can erase a little bit more. So if it missed some of the background or if there was another subject in the background that I also wanted to delete, I could go in and erase it on my own. If there were portions that maybe it took out that I didn't want it to take out, I can restore it as well. So if I've got the brush here and I wanted this particular circle right here to stay in the image, I would just go in and restore that brush. I can show the original image. So again, if there's another subject in the background and I wanted to restore that subject, I would just go view over that and brush them back into existence in the photo. You can change the brush size. You can zoom in here and get more of a finite view. So if you're familiar with something like Photoshop where you're cutting out the background, this can be a little bit tedious. Obviously, there are some tools that have released in the last couple of years that do make this quite a bit easier, but if you've got something like Canva with the background remover tool, it makes this process pretty quick, especially if you've got a pretty simple background. But you can zoom in on the image, which is great to be able to make small edits. I can come in and really refine exactly what's getting taken off of this image to make it a little bit more finite. I use this tool all the time for stock photos, images, headshots are a really big one, maybe sports photography, that's another big one because I do a lot of posters. Now the next tool is one that I covered in the last video, and that's called Magic Edit. What that does is allows you to edit a specific portion of your image without having to completely overhaul the image, take a new one, or find something completely different. So I'm going to stick with this photo in particular if you're watching on the video version, and maybe I want to change his shirt color. So if I want to make him stand out a little bit more, what I'm going to do is I'm going to edit the photo. I'm going to go to Magic Edit, and I'm going to just go ahead and highlight his whole shirt. So now that I've got the whole thing selected, I'm going to hit Continue, and I'm going to describe exactly what I want. Now, there are some inspiration pieces down here. Obviously, the more description that you have in your little text prompt here, the better the option is going to be. So I want to change the black, change shirt color from black to lime green, just for purposes of taking a peek. Let's generate it, and then from there, it's going to give you a couple of different options to look at to see if it's going to generate what you want. Now, once I've hit enter there, it's going to take a few minutes to maybe recolor the shirt, give me some different options. And as you can see, it's not a perfect fit, but it is going to change that shirt to an extent to where I can notice that it is green. This particular option looks very similar to the previous shirt, so I'm going to go ahead and do this one because it wasn't as glowy as this one. So I like this one. We're going to go ahead and select done. And now again, I could go in and I could pair this with another tool. I could go in and use the background remover tool. The big benefit here is that this technology is always growing. It's always getting a little bit better. So maybe by the time that you're watching this video, you're going to be able to create something that's even more refined. The next tool that I recommend to any content creator is the Magic Media tool. You'll be able to find it under the Magic Studio format as text to image or text to video. What this does is it's going to prevent you from having to sit in front of your computer trying to find the perfect photo for hours on end. Believe me, I've been there. It is not fun at all to sit there and look for a particular photo that you know exists, but maybe you just can't find it. What the text to image and text to video tools do, or the Magic Media tool, is allows you to put in a text prompt as to what exactly you're looking for in either a short video or an image. Now you can find this in two spots on your Canva account. You can either go to the home page and select Magic Studio and then select text to image, or when you're in a design, just go to apps and then type in Magic Media. Now it's going to pop up this little tool right here, Magic Media, and then you're going to be able to put in a specific prompt as to what image you want. Once you've got your text prompt in there, you're going to be able to choose between different styles. There's 5 different styles, either no style, filmic, watercolor, anime, dreamy, or photo. It's going to take a little bit of time to generate that image for you, but it's going to give you 4 different options that you can choose from, both from an image standpoint and a video standpoint. These are, again, pretty raw in terms of what it's going to build out for you, but it's going to give you a couple of different options that you can play with. Now, it looks like some of these are pretty cool, and you can even go above and beyond. I put something really, really basic in there. I do really like this one. Obviously, if you're looking for something a little different, you can either modify your text prompt or you can change the style and really refine it into something that you want. The benefit to doing this as a content creator is that you're going to spend less time looking at a blank page. Believe me, I've been stuck on an idea and you really just have no idea how to implement it, or maybe you're just searching through the photos or graphics and there is nothing there that you really like. So a Magic Media tool is something that you can use to either give you some inspiration or give you a head start on the design that you're looking for. The next tool is the Magic Write tool. The Magic Write tool functions similar to something like ChatGPT, where you can get generated ideas, maybe a starter for a blog post or a social media caption. Another format that you can use it is if you've got specific content that's in your post, let's say a description on a flyer, and you want to reword it to match your brand voice, or even just reword it to sound a little bit different. Maybe you weren't happy with how you came out with it the first time, and you want different iterations to try something else out. You can use the Magic Write tool to do that. Now, if you're working in a regular design, this is going to allow you to do a couple of different things in Magic Write. It won't give you the full scope of Magic Write. You'll have to be in a doc to do that, but in a particular design, let's say a presentation or a social media post, you'll be able to click on any text that you may have and select the Magic Write tool that pops up when you're selected on the box. From here, you can ask Magic Write to either continue writing, to summarize, to rewrite, to make the text more fun or more formal. And The most entertaining one is probably the sprinkle fairy dust, which just gives it a little bit of oomph, a little bit of a push. So if you're more of a boring writer, which there's nothing wrong with, I've been a boring writer for a very long time, you can sprinkle a little bit of fairy dust on your writing and make it a little bit more exciting for the audience. If you wanted something a little bit more generative, kind of like ChatGPT, you would need to be in a doc. So once you're in a doc, you can either hit the little plus icon here, or you can hit the backslash and choose Magic Write. From there, you're going to write in a prompt of at least 5 words to give you really anything that you're looking for. If I want a list of tools in Canva to share on my social media channel, I would type in something like this. Now I could put in a prompt similar to this for maybe a basic content idea list. The more advanced the prompt, the more specific the prompt, the better the answer you're going to get. But this is just a good example of getting started. So if I wanted to start with this, I would hit enter, and what Canva's Magic Write tool would do then is provide me with this 10 content ideas that I asked for. I did give it a little bit of context in terms of what platform I was using, what content I teach, and it was able to give me just a couple of quick ideas. If I wanted something a little bit more specific, I could put in things like who my audience is, who exactly I'm trying to speak to. I could provide it with types of content that has worked for me in the past and maybe has worked for some of my competitors or even bigger influencers in my space. What that's going to do is just provide it a little bit more context. I could also ask it to ask me questions. If I need it to ask me specific questions to give me better results, I can do that as well. And Canva will store those in this particular doc where I could go back and reference this at a later date. And the last tool here that I use literally every day is Magic Switch. I use it for a couple of different things. For the most part is resizing, but Magic Switch is a tool that's kind of multifaceted. Magic Switch is an evolution of what used to be the Magic Resize tool, which simply just allowed you to resize your documents or your designs into a new size. Magic Switch will still let you do that, but it's got a couple of added bonuses, like the ability to translate your designs into a new language or transform them into a doc. The cool part about Magic Switch, in my opinion, is the use of it in social media. Now, if you're familiar with different platforms, you'll understand that each platform has a native content size. So the native content size for Instagram might be a 1080 by 1080 square, but you can also post content that's up to 1350 pixels tall. So you can reformat any square posts from 1080 by 1080 to 1080 by 1350. And you can do the same thing if you're trying to get similar content for different styles. So maybe you're trying to turn a post from Instagram into a post for Facebook. While you can still use a square image, the horizontal images do tend to work a little bit better in some industries or some niches. Vice versa, you can also change videos or turn them into stories as well. So we're actually going to come back to this previous Magic Media piece that we did with the dragon and switch that up. So we're going to go up into the top left-hand corner and select Magic Switch. Now we're going to take this square image and turn it into a story post. So I'm going to come down here to social media. I'm going to select Instagram story, and then I'm going to hit continue. Now, before I do that, I will say that you can actually change this into multiple styles. Let's say I wanted to make it a YouTube thumbnail and a story, then I could select multiple. Then I'll hit continue, and then it's going to show me what that looks like in each option. Because I have two selected, it's going to give me the option to resize into 2 different designs. Either I can copy and resize it into this new size if I'm only choosing one, or I can just resize this particular design. This particular image is now formatted in an Instagram story. So here's another example. This is a PDF document that I created that has Canva shortcuts on it. If I wanted to turn this into something that I could post on either Instagram or Facebook, I could go up here into Magic Switch. I could choose, let's say, just a square image because that's going to be native to both. And let's just say I want to do just page 1. Okay, then I can hit continue. It's going to take a second to pull together a preview. Now what it does is it takes all the elements that are currently there and it formats them to where now they fit on that square image. And this is going to create a copy for me to where then I can open that and view it exactly how I had it in now a square space for Instagram and Facebook. And then obviously from here, I can maybe move some of these around. I can readjust the sizing to fit better into the square to where there's less negative space. But now that allows me to make that switch relatively easy without having to take a ton of time to either copy and paste it to a new design or spend a bunch of time reformatting the whole thing. Now, I present these tools because these are tools that I use every single day. These tools really make design quicker. They make creation quicker, which means that you'll spend less time doing some of those more tedious tasks like removing backgrounds from images, and you'll be able to build more content for your profile and be able to build your profiles faster and learn exactly what is going to work and what's not. The other benefit too is that all this content that you're pumping out is going to have a higher quality because these tools are very high quality. You're going to have better design ideas from Canva's Magic Write tool. You're going to be able to cleanly remove a background so it's not going to look very splotchy or have a mismatched background from what it previously was. You're going to be able to put maybe your headshot into a design and make it look really, really clean. That professionalism, that higher quality image is going to make your content stand out, make you look more professional, and therefore make your business look more legit. Thank you for joining me today on the Canva Code. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button on YouTube, follow me on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify, and stay tuned for more insights on how to use design and Canva to thrive. Thank you for listening, and remember, you Canva do it.